lady, I was like, she definitely needs to be involved. She's absolutely inspiring. As you all know, any new listeners out there, this show is designed to inspire and motivate you all. I am an empowerment coach. I help women to set goals and achieve them. I'm also a motivational speaker. You can tweet me on at Desrine, TFEC. Follow me on Instagram, The Female Empowerment Coach. And as always, I always encourage my listeners to give me an email with your questions at talktodesrine@gmail.com. Do please feel free to call into the radio station today. Telephone number is 07584849199. So Ukayalah, tell us about this amazing event that's coming on.
Hello, again. Well, basically, I'm having a Strictly Queens networking event. On the day, we'll have different workshops. We're going to have self-healing, we're going to have womb healing, physical connection, we're going to have natural hair guidance, meditation, yoga, we're going to have a fashion show, open mics, poetry, spoken words, and it's a first time free event. This event is to basically re-aid the female foundation and powerfully connect with other females in this aid.
Thank you. The reason why I've asked Ukayalah to come on the show is because I really loved what you stand for, Ukayalah. You said to me that you're a queen living in the 21st century. What did you mean by that?
I believe that we live in a quite, yes, use the word corrupt society, and in this society we kind of lose ourselves because we're so hooked up on the media, on other people's perceptions of things, and we kind of devalue ourselves without knowing that we're devaluing ourselves. So I believe in this 21st century that I am a queen, and that and that I am a queen, and just keeping my crown on. So yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, so when you say keeping your crown on, how did you find your crown in the first place?
Ideally, I feel like I never kind of lost it. I feel like it was always given down to me through my past ancestors, knowing our value and knowing who we are as a people. Yeah. So I do feel like I've always had my crown on, but there was also stages in my life where I felt like I didn't know that I was a queen. I didn't value myself as a queen. I kind of just lost that connection with myself. Yeah. So I feel like I kind of reconnected myself with kind of knowing more about myself, studying myself, knowing what makes me happy, knowing what kind of makes me sad, distracts me from this, loads of different type of things. So I feel like just studying myself and finding who I am and what I enjoy kind of made me find and keep my crown on.
Yeah, you also said that one of your missions is to encourage others or other women to self-love themselves and to find out their self-value. So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I have a Queen's group, and I've started this Queen group about coming up to 1 year in September. This Queen's group kind of started with me just attracting the right type of females towards me, and they often came to me for advice on certain topics. A lot of them I didn't really know how to even answer them, so I felt like but I knew people that could answer it, or I know people that has been in that kind of experience. So I thought maybe if I collab that all together and get like a networking scheme going on for females to come together and speak on issues that they have going on in their everyday life. So I just felt like that would definitely be beneficial. So that's where I'm trying to encourage self-loving females, self-knowledge, those type of things.
So what's your definition of self-love?
My definition on self-love is, I would say self-love for me is being confident with myself. Being confident with myself, meaning I'm comfortable with my own skin, I'm comfortable with who I am, I'm comfortable with my journey, accepting my growth and being patient with myself. I also feel like self-love comes with a lot of forgiving. So I forgive myself a lot.
Which is really vital.
Yeah, I believe that. I feel like like it's very important to forgive yourself and accept where you are and accept that your past mistakes has made you who you are today.
Yeah, for sure. I find that a lot of people beat themselves up because they've made mistakes and they say, oh, I wish I didn't do this and I wish I didn't do that. But I think it's really important for you to go through these journeys because it makes you a better person and you learn from your mistakes.
I was definitely that person. Like, I often tell myself, oh, it's because I was born in September. But you know what? Like, I feel like I'm a person, I can't take shame. So like once something's happened to me or I've done something that's really irresponsible and I think back, why did you do that? Or I've gone through something like kind of traumatic or something, I feel like I took very long to kind of heal that. I kind of took long to reflect back on it and move forward. So I'd kind of dwell on that current situation until I actually realized that the quicker that I let go, the quicker that I move on and realize that mistake that happened actually was quite beneficial. I have to learn to take the best out of certain things.
For sure. Why do you feel that you did hold on to things that happened?
I think why I held on to a lot of things that happened because I believe that I made people control my destiny.
Okay.
So a lot of people kind of, when say for instance, a lot of people had opinions on me. When I was in primary school and some part of secondary school, I got often like bullied. So a lot of let's say people would have opinions about me, and I used to take these opinions valid into my everyday life, and I used to get very worked up on it. So I feel like I was kind of attached to people's opinions, where I felt like that kind of made me not grow as fast as I'm meant to. So I do feel like that has a big impact on me letting go on certain things.
For sure. My favourite line is, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I kind of knew that, like, now that I'm like on my journey, I definitely feel like I pick and choose whose opinions are valid in my life and if I want to listen to it. And because only you as a person knows your full definition of yourself. Yeah. And I feel like I kind of made people control that. And now I kind of have to detach myself from that. I was very needy. I was a very needy person. So when I was in school and I didn't have like much friends, I used to do like a lot of things to kind of befriend people or try to just be up there in the crowd. I used to be very loud. I'm still loud, but I used to be loud. I used to be quite rude sometimes, and I used to think that was the way forward. That's how people kind of recognized you. Yeah, and I felt like that wasn't the right way. So that was part of my journey as well.
Okay, so let's just take it back a bit. So for our listeners who are embarking on a journey of self-love, what would you say to them? Like, what was your first steps in actually saying to yourself, do you know what? This is not who I am, and I'm ready to become the butterfly, so to speak.
I think that was my first step. The first step was actually talking to yourself. It was actually...
See, I'm not crazy, listeners. I tell my clients all the time, I talk to myself, and sometimes I talk to myself when I shouldn't be talking to myself. You know, like I'm shopping in Aldi's, and I'm like having this great conversation with myself, realizing that my mouth is actually moving.
It's not in your head. Literally, that's the best conversation. But that was the first one for me. I felt like talking to myself was so important. It was like, yo, Ukayalah, like this is not you. Like, you're not happy.
But was there something that happened that was your wake up call? Like, what was it that made that spark?
Do you know what? Yeah, it sounds so cliche, but I think it wasn't a guy because I'm still young, but I feel like a lot of guys didn't like show me attention how other guys will show girls attention. So, and that kind of made me feel very insecure about myself. Yeah. And I felt like there was something wrong, like that mentally drained me. I felt drained every day, that people don't see me beautiful, or people don't want to entertain talking to me, or even friends, like some friends didn't want to like go out and all those kind of things. So I just kind of felt quite isolated, really. And I felt that was my wake up call, just being isolated and not not having a go-to, someone to always speak to. So I felt like that was my wake-up call, because just my wake-up call was just me being unhappy every day. Just every morning, just being drained, not even wanting to eat or speak. Kind of, it's just quite drainful, really. And it was also, my home was quite affected by it as well, because my mum, she actually suffers from like a mental health problem. So when I was younger, I didn't really understand like mental health problems quite much. So I was quite hostile on the situation. I quite just felt like, well, she's just treating me a certain way, and our relationship's not like other mother and daughter relationships. So that also isolated me. So I'm isolated on the roads when I was out on the road, and I was also isolated at home. So I felt like I was just so unhappy. So,
Okay. So one day you woke up and you kind of knew. I always say to clients and even to my friends, we always know when we're not living in our purpose. And we always know when we're not being our authentic self. Deep down in our heart, we know that. And, you know, we've spoken before, and we've spoken about the pressures of social media, and especially as women, of what we're supposed to look like and that image that we're supposed to fit into. So you woke up one day and you just had enough. You said enough is enough, and you started your journey. So what was your next step?
Okay, after I had a conversation with myself, I remember telling myself that self-discipline. So I have to be consistent with what it is that I'm about to do. So I had to make sure that I had to keep on remembering my why, kind of thing. So I had to keep saying to myself, you know why you're doing this, and the purpose, how it's going to end up. My why was always, you're going to be happy. You're gonna feel a reason to live. You're gonna feel, you know. So I felt like that was very interesting for me as well. So I would definitely, and then my next step from there was like, I don't know if you don't know TLC, Left Eye. She died, but she has
one of my favorite groups of all time.
I love them, but Left Eye, she actually like spoke with me, even though I wasn't even alive when she died. But she spoke with me. It was almost like I watched her documentary. It was her life journey documentary before she died. So it was a 90-day life journey documentary. And on this documentary, it basically showed her on her last days before she died, and she just kind of had a rebellious soul. So even though that she was in a group that was very well known in that time, she was famous, like she was big, like she was like know so much people, but she also felt like, well, this is not me. Like there was something more to her that she was interested in. She wanted to reconnect with herself, and a lot of people kind of said, well, you ain't got time for that, you're a superstar, like you don't have time to be self-healing, you have no time to be doing those type of things, when really and truly she just took herself. She picked up herself and she just went into the wild. She went to the jungle, and you just saw herself just kind of reconnecting with herself, finding her
nature.
All of that. Like it was just lovely, and I felt like that woke me up as well, because it was all about mind, body, and soul.
And how do you go about conditioning your mind? Because I always say to my clients and to the listeners is that it's really important for you to feed your subconscious mind with powerful information. Because a lot of us are unaware of what is actually going into our subconscious mind, which makes us feel sometimes unattractive and unloved and unworthy, because we have all these other information coming into our mind. And I'm a big believer in powerful affirmations. You know, I tell myself every morning I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm confident. What do you do to condition your mind?
Do you know what I do? I try to come off social media as much. I try to network in the flesh. I try to be out there, social living networking with people. And I also try to read a lot. I read a lot of books. My favourite author is Sister Soldier. Oh my gosh, she's amazing.
Tell us about the book.
Oh, Sister Soldier writes so much different books, but she used to be a rapper, but then she's now she writes books, and she speaks on Black issues that's dealing with in our society. She usually speaks on like Black issues dealing with men. She's a very strong woman in the sense of she knows a lot about her history and where she's come from, and I find that very interesting, because a lot of people speak on topics that they don't really know, whereas it just flows off her tongue like literally flows. One of her books called No Disrespect, that one was really intriguing for me because a part of the book, she was basically saying this came with her self-worth actually. So she kind of talking about self-worth, relating back to the show. She kind of spoke about her speaking with this guy when she was a teenager, and he had this kind of higher intellect than her, and she just didn't know how to handle that. And then there was another guy that was also on a lower level than her. Yeah. So she kind of traded energies with him, and she felt like that kind of messed her up in a sense. And I felt like that was really interesting because a lot of people do trade energies with the wrong person and don't understand that it affects them. I'll definitely recommend Sister Soldier, No Disrespect.
So what I really want to know, listeners, Ukayalah is 18 years old, and I find her so fascinating. I think she's absolutely amazing. For such a young lady to come into yourself, you know, I definitely respect you for that. So how are you going about helping other young ladies your age?
Okay, let me just be honest. Living in this century, in this kind of generation, a lot of young females are very conditioned and often follow trends and don't have any knowledge of themselves at all. But then that's not for me to judge, because I believe that everybody's journey is different. Everybody grows at their own pace. And for me, I felt like this was kind of how I it's just to expose them topics or certain when I'm around them, I just make sure I'm being me.
Which is really important.
I just have to make sure that I'm me, and everything that I display, that's what you're gonna get. So I kind of influence them in that way. I try to have more open conversations with them, not just basic conversations about guys or basic conversations about college. You know, sometimes just speak to them on a different level and try to open up their mind to certain things.
Can you give us an example?
For instance, I would speak to girls about knowing their monthly cycles and stuff, and they wouldn't probably know much about it or in tune with the moons and stuff. You know, sometimes I speak to them if they know about numerology, or if I'll speak to them about you know, because some just little things I feel like.
And how did you get this knowledge? Just by reading books?
Literally, I got these knowledges literally by reading books and being around the right people, and just me on my journey, being isolated a lot. I kind of, you know, have nothing to do, so you had to kind of read into those kind of things. And like I said, Lisa, Left Eye, she kind of exposed me to a lot of these things as well. I'm also a part of a social living networking leadership group called Ubuntu. It means I am because we are, therefore because we are, I am.
Love it. Can you say that again for us?
Ubuntu means I am because we are, therefore because we are, I am. It's from South Africa, the word Ubuntu. And basically this leadership group has it encourages leadership roles within boys and girls, young females, young kings as well. And they expose me to a lot. One thing Ubuntu's taught me is that you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I felt like I kind of had to make it my duty to know about certain topics and certain responsibilities. So I had to make sure I kind of knew that. And Ubuntu's also taught me a lot about myself and just detaching myself from certain things and investing my energy into the right things. So yeah.
Great. So tell us a bit more about this event. It's your very first event, which is so cool. So tell us, how did you come about organizing this event? You know, there's a lot of listeners that are listening that are budding entrepreneurs, or they're thinking about setting up their own business, or even putting on their own event. So I would love for you to share your journey so far with us.
Okay, so as I was talking about my journey, becoming with self-love and stuff, I believe that my journey is endless. Like I'm just overdosing myself with self-love all the time. Like it's just every day. So on my journey, I attracted a lot of females, and I believe that I attracted a lot of females because I kind of gave off that energy to attract.
So you put the intent out there.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I gave off that energy. Like everywhere I went, a lot of females would come up to me telling me, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and or we'll just sit on the train or something and someone's just randomly talking and we get into a conversation.
Did that happen before?
No.
So seeing that we ourselves and start respecting ourselves, other people see the beauty within us.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to highlight that out.
Definitely, that's very true, because you just attract beautiful souls when your soul has become beautiful. So I believe in that kind of energy connecting kind of thing without you knowing that energy is connecting. Because even though I've met all those different females, a lot of the females that if I told them, "Oh my God, I met another female just like you today," it wouldn't mean anything to them. Whereas to me, it actually meant a lot, because I was just so yeah. Towards my event, I kind of realized a lot of females asking me for advice, like I said before, and I felt like I was helping myself find worth to myself and value to myself, helping others. And so I started the group. It was just literally, it started off by just collecting people's numbers, random people, creating a WhatsApp group, putting random people into a group chat that don't know each other, have never seen each other's face, and letting them know that.
So hold on, so wait. You're like my second guest to tell me that I've got this amazing event coming up, and it all started from a WhatsApp group.
Literally, it was that. Like, it literally was a WhatsApp group.
So how did you get people's numbers?
Literally, when I attracted certain people on road, I just tried to be confident. It's like, "Oh, let me get your number," or I would say, "Let me follow you on Instagram," and then I'll slide in the DMs. So it was just like that kind of thing. And it was like, or I would be speaking to someone over social media, and I'm like, "Oh no, you'll be so interested in some girls I'm talking to at the moment as well." So I felt like, that was good.
Okay, so you started the WhatsApp group, and it started growing. So how many members do you have now in your WhatsApp group?
I have, I believe, 22. I think there's 22 of us in there. The WhatsApp group is literally full of females that don't really know each other, don't have any history together. It's just basically based on going in there and feeling comfortable talking about anything, and it's just kind of confidential as well, because it's like you just know that no one's going to go out there and speak the whole of your business and stuff, even though you can't trust no one, but like that. But that's the kind of energy that we kind of gave off, and was all like-minded queens in there. Do you get what I mean? So we kind of expected the right behavior. So it started off with a WhatsApp group, spoke in there, then we had a couple link ups in that quite a couple times, spoke on different topics. We'll also go to this place that is co-Ubuntu called Discussion Thursday. And this happens every last Thursday of the month.
And what's the criteria to come?
You have to be over 18. It's £2.50 to come in. And you have to be black.
And it's the last Thursday of every month?
Yes, last Thursday every month in Lewisham Way Youth Centre. Is
there a contact number that we can maybe...
No, you could definitely go on Ubuntu's website. That's www.ubuntu, that's UBUNTU Social Living Networking.com.
Fantastic.
You go on there and you find all the activities that they do, keep up to date with everything, really. So we had Discussion Thursday. Discussion Thursday, we spoke on different relevant topics and so much things. And I often hosted some of those events, some of those sessions as well. And it kind of grew from there, really.
Okay, so from going through this journey yourself, from finding yourself and your self-development, you then started to find your purpose in life? Would you say you're still trying to find your purpose?
I'm definitely still trying to find my purpose. Because I feel like I can be so versatile, meaning sometimes I can be so down to earth, and then there's times where I'm just like, I'm fed up of this conscious lifestyle or whatever. Let me just be raggo. And, you know, sometimes I just feel like that. But then, so I'm still on that journey of trying to find myself and find my purpose fully. But I do definitely feel like I'm definitely confident now that my purpose, part of my purpose, is related with female self-love and females' self-worth and value. Okay. So I definitely know that that's part of it.
Okay, so then you decided to put on this event. And how long have you been planning the event for?
I started to, do you know, I had this conversation with one sister that I met 2 years ago. I was speaking to her about the event. I was like, oh, do you know, I'm thinking to maybe, yes, put on an event for females to come together for our network. And literally, I wasn't thinking of anything structured. I wasn't thinking of workshops or any of this. I was just thinking, let's just hire up a room, females that don't know each other, speak on topics and expose certain things and just get out there. So it was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So it started from there. And then I'm a person, like, I don't like speaking on stuff I don't like telling people about stuff because they think I'm not serious. So I was like undercoverly just creating a leaflet as I was putting all these topics on there that will be highlighted on the day. Have womb healing on there. I have self-healing.
Tell us about womb healing.
Okay. The womb healing side of the event is basically cleansing your womb, it's detoxing your womb. It's for those that are like sexually active. It's for those that are sexually active. So what this workshop will do is basically you could either take a tea or you could use pearls, and pearls are inserted in like the vagina, and it stays in there for like 48 hours, and then within another 48 hours you expect a release. So it's like detox from your vagina, and it's just basically taking away things that are inside. And a lot of women do it on a spiritual level as well, to kind of feel re-cleansed with themselves. Because, you know, a lot of women kind of feel a bit traumatized by their sexual partners and stuff. And if a man's DNA is very strong, that you kind of like share your energy with, that person's DNA could probably stay with you until you have children. So it's good to kind of like make sure that you detox, that kind of thing. So we're just going to go into that a bit. And it's good, I feel like, because it's a female event, and as females we have to kind of embrace our womb as well, because that's where life begins. So I feel like it was quite a topic that not a lot of people know about as well. So I feel like it's quite good to bring up.
Okay, and tell us about the speakers that you have coming up in the event.
I have some lovely speakers. I haven't really exposed them as much or promoted them because I kind of want people to kind of...
Is it a surprise?
Yeah. I kind of want people to come on the day and see what it is that's going on and expect from there, really, as this is going to be a free event as well. So I just want you lot to kind of value it from there.
Okay. Do tell the listeners again where they can find your information and where your event will be.
Okay. So you can definitely find me on Instagram at _oddempress. That's ODDEMPRESS. That's Odd Empress, like connected song, you don't understand. Yeah, so I kind of got it from there. He's my husband. But you can find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter, Odd Empress. You can find me on Facebook, Odd Empress. On Facebook, you can also find me as Ukayalah Campbell. That's UKAYLAH Campbell. Yeah, you could type in Strictly Queens on the social media as well. Instagram, you can find it on Facebook, and Eventbrite. You could register for your tickets. Strictly Queens is a is a networking event for females to come together in aid of rebuilding a strong foundation. And this is on Saturday, the 13th of August.
So sign up now. Go and get your ticket. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm totally gutted that I can't be there. I'm going to be in sunny Barbados.
We'll definitely show you the videos.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So yeah, this is at 2 o'clock till 7. So it's basically an all-day kind of event. It's at Caribou Educational Centre. That's 7 Greenwich Road, London, SW9 7PH. That's in Brixton, next to the police station. And yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. There's something that I really want to know, because I get this asked a lot, and especially for myself. I went through my own journey of self-development. And how did you find your friends coped with your change? And did you lose any friends? And how was your family with you? Like, did they help and support your transition? Were your friends supportive? Like, how did you go through that?
To be honest, like I said before, I was quite a needy person. So I kind of found, my problem was that I kind of found it difficult drifting apart from people, even though the universe was given every sign that these perfect people were like hindering your growth kind of thing. So I just kind of tried to, I tried to attach myself to these people as much as possible, even though I knew that they wasn't
good for you.
They wasn't good for me. They wasn't energizing me in any way. They wasn't like fulfilling me in any way. Like they just didn't have, not that they didn't have no purpose in my life, because I believe that everything has a purpose at the time, but I just felt like long term or even short term that this wasn't going to work for my transition as well. A lot of my friends, they weren't really like supportive at all. They kind of like gave off that energy of, oh, that's just boring. What are you talking about? They just often kind of avoided those type of conversations with me. And I lost a lot of friends because of that. It looked like I just made the universe take control, and just make it, and from there, it's kind of gone. And now that I'm doing this event, a lot of my old friends are just trying to like sway back in my life, and not saying that I'm like, my platform's too high for them or anything, because I don't believe in that kind of inferior, superior kind of lifestyle, because I do believe that everybody is on the same level. No one has more value than anybody else kind of thing. Like, we're just all at different stages and different parts in life. I was just kind of felt like that kind of transition helped me find the right people in my life.
So how did you deal with it? I mean, I had a client and she was starting up her own business, but a lot of her friends weren't very supportive of that, but she felt that she needed them for support. So when you was going through your journey, how did you deal with not having that support? And was you just strong enough to be like, okay, you're not supportive, I believe in this dream so much that I'm just going to go on my own?
Do you know what? I kind of gave up. There was points where what I did is I just kind of not pretended to be somebody that I'm not, but I would just kind of conform to their way of living for a second. So like when I was with them, I just kind of conformed to their way of living. And really and truly, now that happened, I was just like, I wasn't strong enough to hold. I needed that support. I felt like I needed that backbone. I needed people to go to. I needed to kind of interact with people, apart from my family. And that was quite emotional for me, especially from my past as well, being isolated. So it just kind of made me feel like even more drained, and I felt like I was in that place again. But then I just kind of spoke to myself again and stepped back up. But I do feel like people do have to have go-tos, but sometimes you have to be your
Explain
own
what you
go-to.
mean when you say go-to.
Okay. A go-to is basically somebody that is, whenever you have a problem or you're feeling down or you just need some reassurance or you just need somebody to have your back kind of thing, those are the type of persons that you go to. And it's good to have like kind of one or two go-tos for different reasons. When I say that, it's because a lot of people kind of keep things in. I don't really encourage keeping things in unless you can handle it, unless you can say to yourself, right, it's okay. But those that keep things in, I do believe that you need to share with others. And you never know, like, what you're going through, somebody else might be going through, and you'll be able to deal with that together. So I feel like that's very important to share. Okay, and in your group, what would you say are the top 3 topics that come up a lot? Finding confidence within themselves. I think that finding confidence within themselves, relationships. Girls love to talk about relationships. I don't think that ever changes, no matter how old you are. We still talk about boys. I was just speaking about boys just last night. I speak about boys every day. that is the hot topic all the time.
And what sort of issues come up?
Relationships. Do you know what? Like, it's crazy because a lot of people they speak about a guy not valuing them, or they're not getting enough from somebody. You know, those kind of things, and like those kind of questions come up a lot.
And what's your take on that?
Well, I think my take on that is to a lot of these girls kind of go into relationships with no sight of self, no knowledge of self, so but expect so much from somebody else. And I believe you get what you give. So if you have no sight of self and no knowledge of yourself, then you can't expect to have so much from somebody. And what girls also fail to understand is that we live in like a really corrupt society, especially for like black men and black females. We live in a kind of society that kind of holds us down sometimes, and we need to understand each other's struggles in life. So a lot of females don't really understand a man's struggle and stuff. It's just kind of self, me, and motivated. And I feel like a lot of females, they kind of they don't know their worth, but they don't, in that sense, I mean, in like, they don't know their worth, so they entertain anybody that shows them attention.
Yeah.
And I feel like that can affect you mentally and spiritually, and sometimes even in your soul and your body.
Yeah, I like to talk more about that. I think that's really, really important to have self-worth and to value yourself. And you find that all these things have a domino effect. For example, if you set up your own business, a lot of people ask me, what do I charge? Well, what do you value your service at?
Yeah.
It's really important for you to know who you are as a person, whether you're a man or a woman. And it always has to start with self. If it doesn't start with self, you can't progress. Exactly. And I think when you're on that journey, it is hard because you have to be really honest with yourself. You have to look in the mirror and you have to say, okay, what is it that I need to work on? Like, who am I? And strip away all those different layers to get to the core for you to then move forward. And I find that in my experience, a lot of women are in relationships or even around certain people that they know they're not good for them, but they can't walk away from that because they have no self-value and self-respect, and they don't have the confidence.
Some of people are very emotionally needy as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was watching Dr. Umar Johnson's thing. He was talking to women. He's so rude, but he was basically talking about like a woman, like, how could you expect so much from someone and you don't do that to yourself? Like, you don't love yourself, you don't respect yourself in any way or shape. You conduct yourself in such a hostile or provocative, what's the word? Provocative. Yeah, provocative. Yeah, that word. Manner, and you expect good back or something. So it's just like you're just contradicting your whole self, really. Yeah,
and it's relatable in, like I said, in everything. People that are in jobs that they're not happy with. Again, that's self-value. I believe that if you know your self-worth and you know your value, you're going to make it your point of duty to live that life that you have the right to live.
Exactly. Because I feel like we're very tolerant to certain things.
Very tolerant. Yeah. I think too tolerant.
Too tolerant to certain things, and we're kind of lenient when it comes to your standards of living. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, I don't take guys disrespecting me. I don't take guys putting their hands on me. I don't take females talking badly about me, certain things, or in a work office and stuff. But because sometimes we can be so lenient with these kind of things, it's like it devalues our self-worth. When really you have to kind of grab it, like you have to kind of look at it and say, well, I'm securing that self-worth for myself, and you have to be consistent with it. You can't just be allowed some people to do it and other people show.
Yes, that's a really important point. So what would be your advice to young ladies, or even ladies my age? What would be your advice to them when it's to set standards? Sorry, I'm getting a bit tongue-tied. To set standards, what would you say to them?
okay, don't set them too high because
no, because you know, that's really important that you said that, because we tend to do that.
Yeah,
it's like
you're
like, girl, I'm gonna get some standards,
Yeah.
and then the next time you speak to her, you're like, no, babe,
Yeah.
it's just that's a bit
Not you.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Not you, like literally. Some people don't understand that. I think that's very important. Like, set them at your level, like what you know that you can be tolerant to and what you can't be tolerant to.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my brother, one of them, he kind of sets himself when he chats to a girl, or if a girl don't have. He has like 3 rules. I don't remember what they are, but I remember he has like 3 rules. A girl must be like natural hair or something. Like he has like 3 rules, and if they don't have 2 of the 3, he would not like entertain them, or like
is he still single?
Yeah. Literally. And I'm telling him, like, you can't be out there setting these high standards, and it's just like, well, you can be single forever. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you expect so much, and sometimes you have to kind of like get to know somebody inside and out, and then you actually, that's when you actually realize that that person carries value for you sometimes.
I think it's important for you to have standards, but I also think it's important for you to be flexible. Just like when you're setting goals, you know, it's good to be like, this is my goal, but you have to be flexible on how you're going to achieve your goal. And I just think throughout life you should be flexible.
It's all about compromising at the end of the day. Yeah, it's very true. Because like, if I was to give somebody advice to set standards for yourself, I would say, look at yourself, look where you are, and tell yourself what it is that you are tolerant to, what it is that makes you happy, and what is that you need, not what you want. What is it that you need?
That's so important.
Yeah, mentally, physically, and all of that.
And I find that your need never changes.
Yeah.
And I find that sometimes we can go into relationships, and right at the beginning you're like, this is not giving me what I need. But we stay there.
And then it's just stay, and then it drains you.
Yeah.
Until it gets to a point where you don't know what to do, and then you talk to your girlfriends about it constantly, and it becomes repetitive, literally. So it's just like,
see, it doesn't change no matter how old you are.
So yeah, literally, I hear all the time, like, my friends come to me with the same issues over and over again about guys that you tell them, stop talking to them then, or like, why are you still entertaining him? Or if you're going to entertain him, stop complaining about the same thing over and over again. And I do believe, like, if you've told somebody something that you don't like and they constantly do it to you, I believe that person doesn't value you, or doesn't respect you to that level, unless it's something that they cannot physically change, or something that they can't.
And also as well, I think people have a problem with letting go. Sometimes relationships are meant for that season, and you're supposed to learn from it, and you're supposed to move on. But I just find that we have this attachment going on. We're attached to too many things. And I think that can stop us from growing and being just open to new experiences.
Exactly. Like, being attached is so disgusting. Like, sometimes it can be so draining. Like, you look like you're not in touch with yourself enough. So it's like, when people entertain guys, and then let's say that person does you wrong, you say to yourself, well, I'm going to delete his number, but you still have the text message, so you know you can get his number back. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And it's like, you just need to let go. And sometimes you need closure. So sometimes you need to...
Why do us women need closure? Like, we have this desperate need
for closure.
Do
you know what? It just makes us feel better. I think that's what it is. It just naturally just makes us feel better. It's like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to let him know that this is why.
Yes!
Literally.
We have to tell them the why. But
this,
you know,
why.
I think we are most powerful when we get to the stage when it doesn't even matter if they know the why. Because you know what we're giving them? We're giving them closure.
Exactly.
We're giving them a reason
to.
But it has to come to a stage where, but it has to come to a stage where you love yourself so much that you're not second guessing yourself. Because it's almost like you feel some type of way, but you just kind of want to double check.
Exactly. So it's like, let me just hit him up and see if that's the right. No. Sometimes you have to believe in yourself and believe in your intuition and everything. You just need to do that.
So tell us, you know, right at the beginning of the show, you spoke about having your crown. So what is it to be a queen?
I think a lot of people can go around and call themselves queens.
Yes.
I don't devalue anybody from calling themselves queens, actually. If you want to call yourself a queen, go for it. And I feel like the word queen also is a positive, it gives you a positive impact on yourself, like it mentally stimulates you. So I do feel like if you call yourself queen, go for it. But my kind of definition of queen is that you have to make sure that you kind of conduct yourself in a certain manner that represents a queen, represents your whole unity within yourself, represents your whole dignity as well.
Yeah.
So it just kind of represents, for me, my queen represents conduct, how people view you or how you view yourself as well.
Most importantly.
And my queen is
I like that. Queenism. Is that a real word?
No.
Or, okay.
Just made it up.
We like that.
Hashtag forever making stuff up. Yeah, hashtag that. So I feel like it's just dealing with conduct, respect, self-love. It's also knowing that you are worth something.
And that's so important.
Yeah, like
that really is so important. It's your self-worth. And a lot of us feel lost because we don't know what our purpose is in life. I feel very grateful that I'm now living in my purpose. And I understand that journey can be very hard. It can be very lonely. It can feel very isolated. But I just want to say to anybody that's starting their journey or are on their journey, it's worth it. Wouldn't you say so?
It's worth it. Yeah,
it really, really is worth it. And you just have to believe that you are enough. And the person that's looking back at the mirror at you, that's you.
Yeah.
And there's only one of you.
There's
and
only one, yeah.
You are beautiful and you're unique. And don't allow anyone else to take that away from you.
Exactly. I believe on your journey, make sure you step out of your comfort zone a lot. Always try to experience new things, meet new people.
Yes.
And also just kind of
and let go of your fears.
Definitely. Let go of your fears, definitely.
You know, and let go of, like I keep saying, what other people think of you, that's none of your business.
Yeah, let go of your fears.
Just let it all go. And, you know, people always laugh when I say that. But honestly, for me, I started really growing when I stopped caring what other people thought. Because when you don't have that, oh, what's that person thinking? You're kind of prepared for anything.
Anything, yeah.
You know, you're kind of prepared to fail. You're prepared to embarrass yourself. You're prepared to make mistakes. And once you do that, you just become so much freer within yourself. And you start to grow and embark on your journey. And also, your journey is meant for you. And you can't expect anybody else to understand it. And I find that a lot of people get frustrated with, or the lack of support. Or, you know, someone might give advice. If you want to do something, why are you asking Jane what her opinion is?
So true.
And then complain about what Jane says. Oh, no, I don't think you should do that. Because it's not Jane's vision, it's yours. And if you had that vision in the first place, you have to trust in it. And take that step, like you said, constantly step outside your comfort zone. Ukayalah, it's been so amazing to have you here today.
Thank you.
Tell us again how they can, tell us again how they can contact you. And how, you know, if we have any young listeners listening, how can they join your group? I know you have a blog. Can you tell us about your blog quickly? Can they email you if they're interested in joining your group, etc.? Okay,
so if you follow me on Instagram, you can definitely hit me up. In my DMs, I respond because I'm not that famous.
Here up in the DMs.
I don't have that much followers, so I will see it.
Oh, we have to change that. We have to change that. What's your Instagram name?
_OddEmpress. ODDEMPRESS.
Definitely go and follow her for inspirational stuff, motivational quotes,
cute pictures.
Cute pictures.
But yeah, definitely holler at me and I will definitely tell you more about what it is that our group is about and just certain disciplines in our group, and then we could definitely work together, do involvement. Also, just to remind you that my event, Strictly Queens, will be on Saturday the 13th of August 2016 this year, 2 to 7 p.m. at Caribou Educational Centre, SW9 7PH.
Fantastic. Do you think we should tell the listeners our little project that we have bubbling up?
I don't think they're ready. No, I think it will be interesting, and maybe we get some feedback as well on their opinions, if they could maybe message us or something.
Okay, would you like to tell the listeners?
Okay, so me and Desirine, we were sitting down and we were speaking about maybe collabing some work together, and as I'm with like 2 different generations, we came up.
Wait, I'm not that old.
Okay, no, not 2 different generations. I do mean that. You know, I'm just a baby.
there is a age gap. But yeah, sorry, continue. I interrupted you.
I think it's just, you know, I'm just too young. I'm not a baby. Anyway, so we're gonna call it Big Sister, Little Sister. So basically, Desirine will be mentoring me and guiding me on my journey and just keeping me on my toes, really. And basically, she's so we're just gonna kind of feed from what we have going on to give back, if that makes sense. So we're thinking maybe to have a radio slot to call a radio show kind of thing. Like
it's a bit like what I do now. So as you all know, I'm a coach, and we're going to have a platform where we think it would be absolutely amazing to do a 2-hour show once a month, where you can call in with your questions and we will coach you together on air, and just to see what kind of happens and just kind of go with the flow. And I like to share these things with my listeners because I want you to see how ideas happen, and that things are not perfect straight away, and that if you want something, just go out there and do it. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't work, you found out something that doesn't work, which means that you're on the right path to find out what does work. So I'm really excited to be Ukayalah's mentor. I keep saying that I think you're absolutely amazing. And like I keep saying, this platform is to empower and inspire other women out there. So do please follow her on Instagram. What's your Instagram name again, Ukayalah?
_Odd Empress, ODDEMPR. E-double-S. Odd Empress, yeah, on Instagram.
You can follow me on my Instagram, the Female Empowerment Coach. I want to just say thank you to all of our listeners for listening today. Do take down a number, 07584 849 199. You can also email me at talkswithdesirine@gmail.com for any questions that you'd like me to answer on my next show here on Power Extra every Thursdays 6 to 7. I would like you to leave the listeners with something really powerful, Ukayalah. What would be the 3 top tips you'd give our listeners just about becoming a queen, being confident and loving yourself?
Constantly talk to yourself. Constantly, self-discipline is a very important thing to have. Self-discipline, consistency, and believing in your intuition.
Amazing. Again, my website is desrine.co.uk. Thank you so much for listening. And I would just like to wrap up the show by saying that you are enough. And just remember that you are powerful and you are beautiful. And in order for you to know who you are, you have to embark on this journey alone. You can't expect your friends to be with you, your family. You just start it. Just step outside your comfort zone and know that you are worth it. And if you're not happy, you deserve to be happy. So on that note, queens, stay blessed. Bye. Bye.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. I love this song.